It's time for episode 37 of Delivering Marketing Joy. We talk with Catherine Graham this time from SKU, and she tells us why events matter and how you can go from frazzled to fearless. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is someone I admire and I'm super happy to have on the show, Catherine Graham. She's the CEO of SKU, an order management platform in the promotional products industry. And man, Catherine, thanks so much for joining me.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I was looking online and I see that you're doing a webinar, and I loved the title of it, From Frazzled to Fearless. So, tell me a little bit more about that. What are some tips you can give us?
Yeah, so I'm a total productivity geek. I read endlessly on all of this, as you can imagine, with, as you know, having kids and a business, and you with multiple businesses, and us too, that there's always a lot to juggle. So it's a constant challenge. Two kind of quick tips I would give, which are two of the highlights from the webinar. The first of which is the importance of planning. Taking time to actually plan your day. A lot of us kind of allow our email to govern our day and our inbox to drive everything. So just taking a few minutes either at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day to plan for the following day to really get organized on what you need to get done to work on strategic things as opposed to the day-to-day. And the second thing is what's called the touch it once principle. So when you open an email, make a decision on what you need to do with it and act then, or make a note to act later, and as opposed to closing it, opening the email again, 5 minutes or an hour later, opening again, and you just waste so much time rereading the same email. So those two things can significantly boost overall productivity.
Man, I love that. I read somewhere that the inbox is a way of organizing other people's priorities.
It's so true. Urgent at the expense of important.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. And just being intentional, it's amazing how big an impact that can have on your day when you do it.
It's so true.
So, just in the point of disclosure, I attended an event that you guys created last year. It's a user group event called the software is called SKU, but the event was called SKU Con. It was a really cool event. It included education, inspiration, and all kinds of things around our industry. What are some lessons you learned from that? And I guess as a follow-up, why does an event like that matter?
Yeah, I think that one of the really important things that we all need to do is take time out to work on our business instead of in our business. And going to events, conferences, educational things, even attending, webinars, it really kind of forces you to step out of the day-to-day. And I think that's a key aspect of being able to continue to figure out how you're going to grow and evolve and manage the constant kind of barrage of change that's coming at us on a regular basis. I think the learning for us was the power of bringing together people in person and being able to bring a group that's smart and curious and progressive, and just seeing the magic that happens out of the conversations that took place. It was such an incredible experience. I think just a reminder that in this digital age where so much of our interaction happens virtually, that there is still a lot of power in that face-to-face dialogue.
For sure. And I heard a quote right before I went to that event, Catherine, and I actually watched it happen. The quote goes something like, social media will never replace a handshake, but it can turn a handshake into a hug.
Yes.
And I really legitimately experienced that. I had met you actually before SKU Con, but I had never physically met your husband, Danny Rosen, a couple of those folks, and I went there with them as friends, and I'd never actually shaken their hand, and it turned that handshake into a hug, and that was a really cool thing that conference gave us an opportunity to do that. So that was, I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, so it's so true. It's bringing the power of that, virtual interaction where you feel as if you know someone, then being able to, it makes it so exciting to meet them in person. I mean, there were so many of our customers that I never met in person, and I loved kind of seeing them and having that, like, you know who they are because you've seen their face a million times, on the community feed, and so being able to have that experience live, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, one of my final questions for you here is, I see you as kind of a role model for entrepreneurial leadership for women. And, I don't know if that's fair or not, but what advice would you give someone stepping into that lane?
Just think big. I think a lot of women lack kind of confidence in their abilities to, whether it's to do something bold like start their own business, or have the confidence in their ability to create something more than just, or something that's more than just themselves, by hiring people, growing a team. All of that is to recognize that the power of what they can bring to the table, and to be able to kind of think big from that perspective. Also, I came from a corporate background and used to work in management consulting before I went into the entrepreneurial space. And I'd always defined myself as being someone who was corporate. And so when you kind of put yourself in a box, that recognizing that that's very limiting when you kind of define yourself a certain way. So just being open to how it is that you think about your capabilities and what it is that you can do, I think is, and it's not just applicable for women, it's applicable for anyone, but I think that women in general often seem to have a less, or seem to have more confidence challenges than men do.
Yeah, we men fake it better, I guess, maybe.
Yes, you're good at it. It's something we can learn from. Fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Now, can I throw one bonus question at you?
Sure.
Okay, I've never done this, so I apologize. But again, I actually talked to your husband about this, but I think it's worth bringing up. I mean, you and your husband and me and my wife, we both work together as spouses.
Yes.
I don't know if you get this question all the time, but I do. What's that like?
Yeah. Actually, I get the question, how on earth do you do that? Especially for those that know Mark.
And me, I get it.
I feel so lucky that we have so much fun working together, and I think part of the reason why it works is that we have very different and complementary skill sets. So we don't step on each other's toes, and bringing those different skill sets together kind of creates a more cohesive whole, and that's, I think, where the magic happens and where it's also really fun.
Cool. Well, thanks. Thanks for allowing me that extra question. Well, everybody gets the chance to ask me one question,
Yes.
So fire away.
Yes. So my question to you is, you are a man of many hats who's done some pretty interesting things with, like, writing a book, and you've got video company and a promotional products company, and all these different things going on. So my question to you is, when you launched this show, it was a pretty different and unique thing to do. And my question is, what has it done for your business?
No, it's a great question. I think it's done several things. Number one, it has really increased my footprint in the industry. And that was honestly one of the kind of long-term goals, was to say, you know what, I think we have a lot to offer, and I think this is a way to do that. And obviously, by sharing platforms with awesome people in the promo industry, but also outside of the promo industry, I think it has raised our footprint there. I think it's showcased that, quite frankly, we can do not only content within our industry or within business, but high-level, highly produced content, and I think that's been good for us, and hopefully for our industry as well. And then, yeah, I mean, I think one of the challenges I always struggle with answering is, what's the ROI of what we do? And the thing I've been saying a lot lately is, I don't think we've seen it yet. Have we gotten business because of it? Yeah, but I think that the best is yet to come. And I think that's what happens with creating content and social media marketing, is it's a long-term play that, it builds and grows. And so I think that's what it's done for the business so far, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, these things are an investment, and I think you're demonstrating some great thought leadership, and using a really exciting medium to do it with video, and I think it's great. So keep it up.
Thank you. And I tell you here, as a bonus, I'll tell you what, I'm learning so much. I mean, honestly, you have to have some level of ego to decide that you're going to put out a show. I mean, you just do. But I have learned so much on each show where I come away going, wow, okay, I feel like I'm smarter by talking to really smart people, and that's done good for the business too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, cool. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate you being a part of the show, and we'll have to have you back again sometime.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks a lot, Catherine. That wraps up another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We will see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!